Can you put this matrix and apply it also to the state to weigh what is technologically available?
Well, we could
if
if
it doesn't match.
we could if they sent us a bid like the vendors did, because when we issued the RFP, the vendors then replied to every specification in that RFP. So now they have not. Now Motorola did respond to us with an RFP. They were one of the vendors, so we would have to confer with Motorola to see that the RFP, the vendor bid that they gave us, was similar to what the state would ask for, what we would get from the state if we went with the state. So I don't know that. I don't know if Motorola Premier One, if their bid is exactly what Darrell Anderson negotiated with Motorola. We don't know that. We had a meeting, as Commissioner Bernabei was there, Randy was there, the sheriff was there with Darrell Anderson, who's the director of the Marcs, and we talked about both radios and CAD. And at that time, we expressed to Darrell that the price was way too high for CAD. We weren't really interested from a financial standpoint. And then he was going back to Motorola to try to negotiate, not for us, but for his own sake. So it's my understanding that if we did move to a state system, we would not be contracting with Motorola Premier One. We would be contracting with Marcs, and they would then be the people that would provide us with the CAD system.
I think, and again, I just keep making you money because I keep giving you hours to work. But
yeah.
I think we have to give you some direction now, given these new numbers that we received from the state. It makes it much more attractive than the numbers that you looked at several weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think you need to pull them into the mix and find out as much as you can technologically that matches up with your matrix information. Get Leo Berbelis involved in this thing.
Right.
Take a much closer look at them and maybe come down with the two best of the RFP plus the state, and then I check with those.
We have a meeting scheduled with them on the 31st.
Right.
Correct. With Marcs.
And he said, when I talked to him today, I talked to him right after you did, George, I think, and he said that he'll have all that there, and the firm price on the towers that you've been requesting will also be ready for them. But something he did add to this is this price does not include any of the things that Joe's talking about. Our interface of the GIS system, of Firehouse software, of CGIS, those interfaces would still be separate contracts that we would have to contract for that interface with Motorola to write. This is strictly maintenance fees for 5 years.
Mr. Chairman, could you pass that out? Why don't I have it?
I'm sorry.
Randy
Craig, you
walked
know-
in with it today, and the first time I saw it was when he walked
pass
in.
them off.
Or if I just take a look at one?
There you go.
You can have that one. Again, the reason this is on the SCOG agenda is several-fold, but number one, the money that we're talking about using for a CAD, if in fact we opt to go CAD direction, is money that the commissioners have set aside from the prior sales tax, which has a balance of approximately $2.3 to $2.4 million in that. What we contemplated, though, was, and many entities in the SCOG governance board last year or a year and a half recommended that money be utilized, and it was their priority that it be utilized for the purchase of a CAD. There has also been discussions, and that commitment may be wavering, that commitment and that money may be used and focused on Marcs 800 megahertz radios to assist everyone in the county and to assist going to the Marcs system. So we have a study going with regard to that too, to determine whether that's the best direction to go with this. But one of the reasons that this is a SCOG issue is because even if the county were to purchase the capital asset being the CAD, and again there's a variety of prices, there's also associated with it a significant amount of maintenance and or user fees associated with it, and those user fees probably would be distributed to everybody in some way, shape, or form on a contractual basis. And SCOG is probably the best entity in the governing body to circulate and create at least a common place for us to talk about whether or not that works for everybody or not. So this is one of the reasons why we're talking about it here today. And we talk about this also because, again, there's interest for use of this money. I know the Canton has a strong interest in a CAD because they have the need for one. The sheriff has expressed an interest. We have a strong interest in the Marcs radio system because, again, in 2017 we were told the Motorola will not make any replacement parts for our existing system, which is a very good system now, but it may be difficult to maintain after 2017. It's a capital asset probably worth, I'm guessing, to replace, and we're waiting for numbers from Motorola, but the numbers are probably $10 to $15 million ballpark, so we're talking about having to have a capital capitalization of that amount of money by 2017. So we need to start, one of the reasons why we're looking at Marcs today is to find out whether it's better to start moving towards Marcs now, saving a lot of maintenance fees that we're paying now. We spend $700,000 now between Canton and Stark County to maintain the 800 system that we have, whether or not that money could be better spent towards capitalization and going to Marcs. So that's an ongoing study.
Now, Mr. Chairman, this meeting on the 31st, are we supposed to get some more solid numbers on the tower infrastructure, or that's?
They're gonna do that too, but I think they're gonna try
I
to
don't think we'll have
cap a
anything,
lot of
I don't know what will come out for sure of the 31st meeting, but that is just an additional follow-up Marcs meeting to one that we recently had, with Darrell
Commissioner
Anderson.
asked for hard numbers on taking over those towers, rebuilding those towers, and whatever would.
So this is the report you'd referenced during the governance?
No,
report?
this is not a report yet, no, we're not
Okay.
ready for that.
Okay.
Remember, I said probably 30 to, I said
Okay.
60 days.
Okay.
But Darrell told me today that he would have those numbers for the towers at the 31st meeting.
Okay.
Hard numbers.
One of the things in the meeting that we previously had with Darrell regarding the Marcs 800 radio system, he came back with thinking, or showing us that we would probably need 6 of the 10 towers in the county to upgrade in order to get in-building coverage for everybody in the county. After we looked at the map and talked a little bit, he looked at putting a tower in Carrollton County, or Columbiana County, I think it was Carrollton County. And if he put the tower, his own Marcs tower in Carrollton County, that would reduce the number of towers we need. So I think he's coming back to say, we may need 6 or we may need 4, because if he puts that tower, which we would have no financial bearing on, if he puts that tower there, it would help Minerva and down in that area where there's some bad coverage back, or difficult coverage back down there. So that's one of the things that he was supposed to come back. And one of the goals of the 800 radio system is that we have a good in-building coverage in the county.
Right.
And that will take more than his 3 towers that he has. Marcs' 800 radio system is for mobile system. It's a mobile system, not a portable system.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to add some of our towers. He did. There is what they call a Tier 2 program, that where we would upgrade the towers that we need, and then he would rebate to us half of the cost of that tower in radio fees.
Okay.
Now that, Tom, I think we looked at, could be up to $400,000 a tower.
So I think it's probably more than that, actually.
Maybe,
yeah.
$400,000 to $500,000 a tower.
Renovate
So-
or bring the new technology standards, those towers.
All right, but Mr. Chairman, there's a net reduction in the total number of towers then that would exist if Stark County relies on the Marcs system. So we have 10 now.
Yes, that's correct.
Marcs only needs 6, and if you put the tower in Carrollton?
Carroll
Carroll
Town.
County.
Yeah.
Carroll County. Okay, you're gonna, you may reduce that number further?
Could reduce it by 2.
Okay.
I was initially, he didn't do any studies on that, but initially he said if I had that tower there,
Okay.
then we could maybe reduce it.
And naturally, I'm sorry, naturally, it sounds like there is, some financial benefit, and at some point, if we're not gonna be looking at getting on the Marcs system, the state's gonna move forward anyway.
Absolutely.
Well, the Marcs system is there. The Marcs system
Right.
is a reality, and they, funded it. It's just a question of whether or not this is a good opportunity for us to involve ourselves.
To involve ourselves versus updating, because my further understanding is by the end of 2017 or into 2018, bottom line is our controllers and switches, Motorola's just not going to support the technology we have in place now.
And Motorola is preparing for us a study that will be done probably the first week of June, in which they're going to try to pinpoint the exact costs to replace the Stark County Canton system. And again, we've asked for that study, and they were going to provide us those numbers, but they won't be available until the first week of June. That's going to be the key number, I think, when we start looking at this whole thing, plus our maintenance costs. And
2 things that you have to realize when you talk about Marcs is that they are moving to a 7X platform, which is a higher. We're on a 4.1, and they're going to a 7X. and that's more of a digital type of platform, which is the P25 type of platform. All of their towers are going to go to P25. And when we're talking about upgrading the county's towers, we're going to upgrade them to that P25 status, that higher digital, a better radio system. So the system that the county and city own right now is not P25.
Right.
One of the questions that we ask Emily Allen from Motorola is to look at the cost of the city-county radio system, what it would cost to go to a P25 system, and then what is it going to cost in 2017 or 2018 if you do want to replace controller, backroom equipment, workstations and such, what that cost would be. The other difficulty in P25s is every workstation in the county that operates a dispatch center has a workstation are working off of what they call go to lead. That no longer will be supported after 2017 either. So all of the dispatch centers in the county, Red Center, city, county, CENTCOM, they all have to go to what they call an MCC 7500 in order to be able to dispatch off of the P25. And that again is an additional cost that we ask for with them.
Is the Marcs P25 infrastructure, is it downward compatible with existing 800 megahertz radios that we have? Okay. Because that's another whammy that we're going to face. I mean, I know we have a number of radios in our system that are P25 compatible, some are newer ones and some of that
I think
advanced
that it
series.
is,
But
by the way.
Downgradable?
It's not right now, but it can be.
it can be?
Yes.
Because that's another significant expense for us would be even some newer radios we bought. According to the spreadsheet that you provided governance board by Motorola, they're not
Right.
they're not P25 compatible. A lot of them are
The
not.
one I gave you guys showed which one's yours. They had inventory yours. Which
Yeah,
one
and the
worked.
inventory is depressing. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's about half of them aren't.
Saw that.
Each radio, as you heard in the governance board meeting, was I think $850 to upgrade to P25, and some of the more modern radios were $375 to upgrade.
And Warren, not to cut off that conversation, but there have been like probably 3 or 4 relatively lengthy meetings already. This
I
one on the
understand.
31st. Canton representatives have been there. The safety director has not been there, but we certainly welcome your involvement. But Chief McKim has been there. Former Chief McKim has, I think, attended almost every one of our meetings, as well as a couple of other representatives, Captain Friedman from the.
No, that's fine. I don't mean to
So-
digress, but
Yeah.
it was.
So we will spend more time with you and
The other
make sure
big
you're
number
invited to everything.
that we're waiting on, as I said, Daryl said he'd have. Tom's been asking over and over if part of this is we give them our towers. We're out of that business, we don't have to maintain them, but giving them ready to go is a big number. And it's been all over the board, anywhere from 300 to 600,000 per tower, which is, so for that, I think it's whatever day that is, the 31st, did you say?
Yeah, he said he would try to.
He said he's gonna,
So
he
we'll
told me
find those
today he'd have us hard numbers on those, so we'll know what that cost would be.
Sure.
Remembering that the advantage of going to Marcs is once you upgrade the towers, now you have to do your upgrade of your radios, yes, but there's no more fees, there's no maintenance fees, there's no more of that $700,000 that you all pay a year now.
You could offer your embassy switch or controller,
What
or
you're paying
whatever
now,
you call
user or
it.
maintenance
That's
fee
the
per
key.
radio.
Yeah.
That's the big ticket you're paying for now.
So long as the state
Any thoughts on
supports.
this?
No, I think most everything's been covered. I think there's a lot of information out there that still, we need some finalization on. I think the 31st will be helpful because we're going to get a couple things on the 31st. We're going to find out what it would cost to upgrade those towers and then what our value is to that in return to the Marcs system. I think regardless of how you go with those towers, if you look at it in the long run, we'll have to do something to those towers anyhow. It's one of those, you can pay me now or pay me later. I mean, you're gonna have to pay to upgrade those towers at some point in time. I think that's what you said, Commissioner. Do we start to look at, put money aside to upgrade those towers 5, 6 years from now, or do we, go the direction to upgrade those now? But there is some value returned on those, and we don't know what that is either. Hopefully we'll know that on the 31st. Value returned back to the county and all the users of those resources. So,
Joe, I have a question about the tower, the proposed tower in Carroll County. Is that impacted at all by the fact that Carroll County turned down their 911 levy?
no. separate.
There's
issue.
nothing.
They
Just
would,
a coverage issue.
Marcs would install the tower. The only thing Carroll County may provide would be maybe property. Is there a prison over there somewhere?
No, that's Columbiana
Columbiana
County.
County.
I know they looked at-
You're in the wrong county. That's in
Well, I
Columbiana
know they
County.
looked at the prison also as possibly having
Yeah,
space.
that's
for-
in Elkton, that's a long way into Columbiana County.
Well,
Uh,
you'll be happy to know, the reason he keeps bringing this up is because of the lack of coverage in Minerva. That's what they're trying to cover.
Which needs to be
Yeah.
fixed.
There's a valley down through there that goes down through Carroll, Stark, and part of Columbiana County, in through Minerva, that they cannot light up to the degree where we would have in-building coverage without repeater assistance. And so that being the case, if they put a tower up, they're looking at that now, they got a couple locations, if they would put a tower up, that would light that area up. Beyond lighting that area up, it's gonna actually overshadow some of the areas that we already have towers in, which may mean, I think Joe mentioned, less towers.
Yes.
Yeah, and with that, we'll probably locate the lost French gold, so.
Two other quick things on the radio. One, Marcs did contract with Motorola for maintenance, I think, until 2027. So when you talk about how well will it be updated or kept up, I'm assuming that doesn't mean a whole lot other than it's hard to get anything from Motorola for that long period of time. The other issue is that if we did go to a Tier 2 program, there would be a charge for each radio to Marcs, and that would be $20 a month per radio. And that's per, the sheriff would have his radios, however many he would have, the city, however many they would have, Jackson Township and Massillon, who now are not on the 800 radio system, but would like to go on the system. But when we talked about the rebate would be that $20 fee per radio per month. And if it would be $3 million to update the towers, it would be $1.5 million to come back to you in rebates. Now, how that would work if Canton and Stark County puts out the money and Louisville's got 800 radios and Canton South has 800 radios, we'd have to work out how that fee would be paid and who would be paid to.
We'll switch to dispatch force. Any update on any dispatch issues?
Any?
Update on any dispatch issues?
No. The sheriff could tell you that Plain Township is moving toward incorporating with the sheriff and that being one common dispatch center.
For the fire and EMS.
Right.
We already dispatched with Plain Township, obviously, police services, but the fire and EMS are dispatching out of our facility right now, and we're in the process of transitioning that over to our sheriff's office dispatchers.
Which would give those dispatchers the opportunity to dispatch fire, police, and
Correct.
and EMS, which is a good thing. Just one other final comment that I have. The grant that we received from Efficiency Gov Now for $50,000, I think we're down to about $18,000, Don, something like that. You told me. Yeah, that grant is paying my small fee and also paying our consultant's fee. So we're in pretty good shape. That's $50,000. If we would move forward with the CAD project, we would have another $50,000 available through the Efficiency Gov Now, and it's supposed to be specifically for a consultant for the CAD system. Now, we could discuss that. It could be changed. The basic idea behind the Efficiency Gov Now was collaboration. So we'll have to look and see if a different type of collaboration that we might have would be okay for them with the balance, the other $50,000 or whatever's left of the $18,000.